Okay, let's talk about setting up a TRX for pull-up variations. So you could be using, this TRX brand. There's also other suspension trainers out there. They function very similarly. So let me get out of the frame so you can see the top of ours. So over at the gym, our TRXs are anchored to this big ceiling beam. Yours might look like that. Maybe it's on like a rafter in your garage or your basement. Maybe it's on the kind of pull-up bar on your squat rack. Wherever it's anchored so it's nice and steady and stable. Same setup as normal, so it's anchored in just like it is for all of your other TRX work. From there, you're going to take your straps and shorten them probably as much as you can. So you're going to, pull that strap up and then go into that loop on the TRX strap and keep pulling through as short as you can get it. You'll end up with kind of these like dog ear loops. I don't know if I'm in the way of it. Let me see here. Kind of two big loops on the sides. I usually tuck those I tuck them into that center loop on your TRX just to get them out of my face. Personal preference. Do what you like. You want to end up with the handles of your TRX roughly kind of somewhere in that shoulder to chest height. And this is going to depend on how tall you are and how long your arms are and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go into a general setup first, and then we'll talk exact like mechanics for a scat pull-up, a regular TRX pull-up, chin-ups in each video. So in general, for all of these movements, you're going to position yourself so that you're right under the anchor point. Walk your feet out and try to find a spot where it feels like your hands, shoulders, and hips are pretty well aligned. So a lot of times people are kind of like way back here, or I don't know if you'd ever be underneath here because it probably feels pretty tricky. You want to be right underneath that TRX, so you're as close to you can get to kind of a hanging from a pull-up bar, if you can imagine that. I'll show you from the back here. So from there, all of these will start with initiating like a little scat pulse of pulling your shoulder blades into the pockets, bracing your core, pulling yourself up, trying to kind of stay as straight up and down as you can. So what you want to avoid is kind of standing up and driving your hips forward. That's getting into kind of like a weird row motion. So again, you don't want to kind of like press your hips forward. You want to keep yourself as vertical as you can. A little scat pull. And lower. For any of these variations, you can adjust how difficult they are by where you position your feet. Walking feet forward, getting into kind of like an L sit, or eventually even elevating the feet on a block is a way to make it harder. So if I'm in that same setup position, if I were to kind of like walk my feet out into that L shape, it's going to get harder and harder. Elevating them would be a step further. You can also go to one leg where you just naturally will have less support from your legs. So that's a way to progress it. To make it easier, the main dial that you have is how much you're allowing your legs to help you. So that just requires a little like mind-muscle connection. So I can kind of try to really not let my legs help, It's going to feel harder, versus if I allow my legs to take a little weight, still maintaining that body position, but if I let my legs drive a little bit, it's going to make it a little easier if I need that to complete the movement. You can also walk back a little bit. I will say it's trickier when you're in this position not to kind of just stand up with your legs to really fight that. Try to kind of keep yourself honest, keep yourself kind of sitting in that chair. But if you find that straight underneath the suspension trainer is too difficult to start out, you can always walk it back and start. Let me fix this little camera for you here. Okay. I think that'll keep you in. You could always start a little further back. Just really try to hold that like sitting in a chair position. It's a little bit trickier to maintain the mechanics from that position.